Welcome back, friends. Today we're going to take a look at homework, Eureka Lesson 27 homework. If you're like me, when you would go home from school, you would totally forget everything. And at least with the Eureka, there are those homework helpers. But again, if you were like me, maybe your parents weren't home yet and you had a hard time remembering what you did in class. So I'm going to walk you through these homeworks. If these are helpful, go ahead and press like and subscribe for more. Here we go. We're going to go over Lesson 27 Eureka homework. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do my first thing. I see that these are word problems. Fun, my favorite. I know, it's okay. It's okay. We'll get through it together. So the first thing I like to do is when I have a word problem, I always write, I really do this, RDW. All right, so I do my RDW strategy. Kind of just to help me remember these little tricks and tools to keep myself really looking at the whole thing. All right, so it says Kevin ordered pizzas for a birthday party. These pizzas were cut into eighths. All right, so far I've seen they're having a party. Pizza's normally what you buy. And then you're going to cut these into eighths, which is typically, I think, what large pizzas are cut into, at least where I'm from. How many slices were there? Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out, well, how many slices are there? They're not asking me how much does each person get, so at least this is a little straightforward. Let's go ahead. I did read. Part of the read is to go back and underline. So this part is great for context. Kevin ordered pizzas. Does it tell me how many pizzas? Yes, it says he ordered 4 pizzas. So I'm going to go ahead and underline that 4 pizzas, right? What did he do with those pizzas? Oh, he cut them into eighths. They were cut into eighths, or his parents or whomever. Then they're asking me how many slices were there? Okay, well, let's take a look. How many slices? And for my questions, I don't know, it's helpful when I do zigzaggies. Before, this is a me thing, but I've finished reading. Before I actually start doing the math, I like to flip my question. What does that mean? That means I take that question and I put it into my statement so that when I make sure, like when I finished, I've already kind of figured out what I'm looking for. So it says, how many slices were there? So I'm going to write were blank slices. So I'm again looking for how many slices were there for this pizza. Okay, so we could do this a few different ways. I'm going to draw my tape diagram first, right? My tape diagram is going to show that there's 4 pizzas, right? So let's split it into 4. Here's my first pizza, my second pizza, my third pizza, my fourth pizza. Well, what did I do with all of those pizzas? I cut them all, not just one, but I cut them all into eighths. So I am going to cut them into eighths. So I'm going to do my line here. I'm going to start with my first one, and then I know that I've got 8. Let me just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and extend it all the way out through the tape diagram. All right. So now I've got all of these 8 pizzas cut into eighths. You could use a number line if you like. I have a harder time with making number lines look really nice and neat. So I'm going to stick with my tape diagram. All right, so let's write numerically, like an expression. What did we just do? Oh, we had 4 pizzas and we split them, right, into eighths. Now, careful, I'm not dividing. I'm not just saying divided by 8, right? I'm looking for how are they split into eighths. So I'm looking at eighths. Okay, it's not 4/8 because 4/8 would be 1/2. This is I've got 4 and I have to find like 1 slice and then how many do I have? So if I rewrite this, and look at it, oh, what I actually did was I took these 4 and I made bunches of little pieces. So I'm not dividing again, right? By 8, I'm dividing by 1/8. So what I did was split it or make more slices. So then I'm going to get to 32 because I've got 8, 8, 8, 8. So I've got 32 slices. Remember, for this question, they're not asking you the size of the slices. They're just saying how many slices in all. So that's really it. I've got 32 slices. I split it into 32 pieces. That's it. All right. All right, let's do number 2. It says Virgil. Let me get my pen. Sorry. Virgil has 1/6 of a birthday cake left over. He wants to share the leftover cake with 3 friends. What fraction of the original cake will each of the 4 people receive? Draw a picture to support your response. You know what? This is nice because not all teachers will write that 4 to remind you that he wants a piece of cake too. All right, so let's go ahead and do our RDW. Oh, for our other one, you know what I forgot to do? Yes, I drew and I wrote my answer. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do my RDW again. I like to write it every time. I read, and I'm going to underline right now. Virgil has 1/6 of a birthday cake left over. He wants to share with 3 of his friends. What fraction of the original cake will each of the 4 people receive? So I can kind of ignore this 3 at this point. If they didn't tell us that, you need to remember 3 plus Virgil. So that's 4 people. Draw a picture to support your answer. So I'm going to do my strategy. I like to rewrite that question. What fraction? So of the original cake will 4 people receive? I'm going to write each will, and receive is another way of saying get. It's a fancier way of saying get. Each will get blank of the cake. And you can add the word original if you want. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm going to draw the cake here. Again, this drawing is really helpful to kind of visualize, especially when you're doing fractions and division and all of this stuff. There's like a lot of things going on. So let's take that cake. So originally, that cake, they're saying we have 1/6 of it. So I'm going to split, into 6. You got it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They ate all the rest of the cake. And this is the part that they had left that he could share. So I'm going to just note that. And I'll just write 1. I'll write the OG, the original cake. All right, so I've got my 1/6. Now, this one piece is being split into, between how many? Yes, 4. Because that's how many there are. Virgil plus his 3 friends. So I'm going to extend it all the way to the end. Now, I'm looking here. Unlike what we did before, where we're looking at just all of the pieces, this time I'm looking at one piece. How much is Virgil getting? And I'm going to look at, each kid getting. And I'm going to just highlight that 1. What does this look like as a numerical expression? Well, unlike before where we started with a whole 4 pizzas, this time we're starting with a fraction. And the fraction we're starting with is, 1/6. Well, what did I do to that 1/6? I divided it. I split it. Yes, he shared it. He was a nice friend. He shared it with his 3 other friends, including himself. Because, who wouldn't want cake also? He split it into 4. All right. So when we did that, we ended up with more slices. Like if you were to split the whole thing, more slices, and your pieces are smaller. So really, you've got 1/24. Because if I skip count 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, the original cake would have been split into 24. All right. So each will get 1/24 of the original cake. And see how writing that out is really helpful, because now I don't have to go back and I forgot to write the sentence. I've already done it. All right, let's move on to the next one. I don't know if your teacher has you do all of these. I usually give my kids, when it's word problems, like 1 or 2, but we'll go ahead and do this next one just in case your teacher is having you do them. Yeah, let's do it. It says a pitcher of water contains 1/4 liters. Oh, let's write our RDW. Right, 1/4 liters of water. The water is poured equally into 5 glasses. So, we've got parts. Here's A. So A is having me look at this. This is my question. How many liters of water are in each glass? So let's rewrite that question because we know it's right there. We're going to say, not how many, sorry, blank liters, that's the abbreviation for liters, of water are in each glass. All right, so I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for how much water is inside that glass. Not how many glasses, or cups or whatever, but we're looking for what's on the inside. If I'm looking at my original context here, it says a pitcher of water contains 1/4 liters of water. Okay, what did they do to those? Oh, I see. There's my action. The water is poured equally into 5 glasses. And again, that equally lets you know that you're either multiplying or dividing. Since we're pouring, we're going to be splitting things up, right? Up and out. So this time we're splitting 5 glasses. We know that we're dividing. That's your clue. All right, so let's take a look. I had 1/4, and I'm splitting it into 5 cups, 5 glasses. You can even write it down here and write liter. Liter divided by how many glasses. All right, so let's draw it some. If you find that the tape diagrams aren't as helpful, skip it. But if you're a little bit stuck or confused, it's really helpful to use. So I'm going to look at my original. I'm looking at the 4th. I'm just looking at this 1/4, right, of my liter. I'm just going to put an L for my liter. It can be your 1 whole liter, whatever. So I'm going to take a look at 1/4. Well, what did they do to the water? They poured it into 5 glasses. So I'm going to split it into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know if I add 4 lines, I've got 5 sections. All right. Again, they're looking at each glass. So we're not looking at this whole section. We're looking at what would 1 glass or each glass have, right? So I'm just looking at that 1. If I were to skip count, I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, right? So I've got 1 out of 20, 1/20th. So I'm going to say how many liters? 1/20th of a liter of water goes into each glass. And that, my friends, is A. All right, A for number 3, extends, or this whole problem extends. So let's go ahead and flip over our papers to the back, and we're going to look at B. Oh, they threw in some good old review for us. It says, write the amount of water in each glass in millimeters. All right, well, I know they're 1 liter. I'm going to write my kind of reminder here is, well, here's that prefix milli, which means 1,000. So I'm going to write 1,000 milliliters. Okay. All right. So now I need to go from what I had before, which was 1/20th, right? 1/20th. I need to figure out first, well, what's that 1/4? What's that 1/4? The amount of water in each glass. So, sorry, 1/20th, we said, right? 1/20th of a liter. So instead this time, or let's write it as an expression of 1 liter, right? Instead of that way. If I were to write that, I would write 1/20th times 1 liter. Well, that's not going to help me because I'm going to get to 1 20th, like the same number. So I need to convert it. Instead of 1 liter, I'm going to write 1,000. So 1/20th times 1,000 milliliters. And we can just divide it or multiply it like we have been before. So remember, there's an invisible 1. So I'm going to say 1,000 milliliters divided by 20. I like to kind of divide things out. So I'm going to divide both by 10. I'm going to cross it out to show I'm dividing both by 10. And now I have 100 divided by 2, which equals 50 milliliters. All right. All right, my friends. So that is questions 1, 2, and 3. And usually that's all I have my kids do. So I'm going to usually just, if it's word problems, just do 1, 2, and 3. Come back for more if this was helpful. Next video, we'll do lesson 28 for homework, Eureka. Have a great day.